The basic premise of the comment was, should I try to push all my sets that hard?
And so shockingly, he says, Coach Greg, in today's video, who got Sam Sulek so upset?
I saw a comment that kind of upset me. It was a little bit upsetting, and that's pretty rare.
And so he says he read a comment, and rarely do comments ever upset him. But this one, this comment in particular, it got him going harder than last time.
The basic premise of the comment was, should I try to push all my sets that hard?
And so consider this, the guy is watching Sam Sulek's videos, of which he's training to failure and beyond. Jeff Nippard did a training analysis of all his videos, and 96 to 98% of his working sets were in fact done to failure and or beyond. And so the guy says, should I be copying you? Should I be training like Sam Sulek? You know, pushing hard, going to failure and beyond? Yes or no?
Should I try to push all my sets that hard?
And so he basically wanted to know, should I be pushing all my sets as hard as Sam Sulek? I mean, we have, after all, Jeff Nippard saying, I don't think we should train as hard as Sam Sulek. He believes that 1/3 of your working set should be taken to failure and the other 2/3 taken to approximate failure. You know, 1 reps in reserve, 2 reps in reserve, 3 reps in reserve. But let's see, what does Sam Sulek say?
Should I try to push all my sets that hard? What? Are you f***ing kidding me? Obviously.
And so shockingly, he says, of course, obviously. I thought he was going to say, obviously not. Literally, I was watching him, and when he said obviously, I thought he was doing it for a dramatic pause. Obviously not. You're not all like Sam Sulek. Of course you shouldn't be doing 98% of your sets to failure. But no, he doubled down. Obviously, you should be training as hard as Sam Sulek. I disagree. Let's first consider this. If you're a beginner, should any of your sets be as hard as Sam Sulek? Nope. None of your sets should be taken to failure and or beyond if you are in fact a beginner. Remember, you start off easy and over time you progressive overload. And so when you first join the gym, you start easy. You do a bunch of warm-up sets. You don't ego lift in the gym. And over time you gradually increase the load and you train harder than last time. And so if we divide training groups into thirds, 1/3 are beginners, 1/3 are intermediates, and 1/3 are advanced level lifters, 1/3 of people automatically should not be training as hard as Sam Sulek. And so the answer should be obviously not. Obviously, you shouldn't always be training to failure. Obviously, you shouldn't always be trying to train as hard as Sam Sulek. Even ask Dr. Mike Israetel, ask Jeff Nippard, ask almost anyone. There is, in fact, science to training. And although I'm a proponent of just training hard, pushing harder than last time, going in progressive overloading, I do believe there's a time and a place for not going all out, to not pushing to failure. And if you base your training on the research, or literature says that within 3 reps of failure, that is the sweet spot. So why do you have to go to failure every single time if you can make gains by keeping a few reps in the tank?
I'm not going to say that every set has to be like a near-death experience.
And so Sam is saying, look, it doesn't have to be a near-death experience on every single set. And by that, I take it as this. You don't have to go to failure and beyond and just go until you can't do it anymore. When I was training with Damien the Fat Ass, he made me do a set. He said, go until you can't stop. I believe the set took 5 minutes. You don't need to have a near-death experience on any set in order to make gains. But you also don't need to train to failure. Now, Sam then does go on to explain this. If you could get 15 reps, if you went all out, 15 reps, that is all you could ever do. Why would you stop at 10?
But if your body is capable of doing 15 curls on one side with a dumbbell and absolutely no more than that, why would you stop at 10? It doesn't compute.
He says, that it simply doesn't compute. Why would you stop at 10? Now, let me explain this. If you're a beginner and you could get 15 reps all out and you stop at 10, that actually makes sense. When you first start in the gym, you need to keep some reps in reserve. You don't need to train near failure. But if you're an intermediate or advanced level lifter, Sam, 100% correct. The majority of lifters, they don't train hard enough. And many people, they keep in 4, 5, 6, even more reps in reserve. And so if you could get 15 and you stop at 10, you're leaving your gains on the table. Unless, of course, you are a beginner. Rather than stopping at 10, you should at least get 12. 12 should be your minimum. That is, of course, if you're an intermediate or advanced level trainer. That would allow you to stop within 3 reps of failure failure. But remember this, what you lack in intensity, you have to make up with more volume. If you stop all your sets before a failure, for example, you stop at 12 when you could get 15, you have to do far more sets than if you go to complete failure. And so my advice is if you're stopping at 10 right now and you could get 15, don't think I have to now have a near-death experience. Don't think next time I'm going to go to failure. Just try next time to get to 11, then 12, 13, 14, 15. It's about training harder than last time and using progressive overload. Rather than thinking I have to get a certain amount of reps, think I need a certain amount of intensity. Try to go hard, but realize that unless you're an advanced level trainer, you don't have to train to failure and or beyond. If you're an intermediate level trainer and you keep most of your reps between 3 reps in reserve or less, you're doing good. But if you're a beginner, it's perfectly okay to not train to complete failure.
One of the simple tenets of any kind of training, I don't care what sort of set or style or movement or like rep scheme you're doing, go hard. If it's a hard set, it's going to be good for you. Training intensity is the great equalizer of all different styles of training.
And so regardless of your training style, your technique, the form that you're using, the training intensity is a great equalizer. If you get 2 people in the gym with equal genetics and one trains perfectly, scientifically, the best form, but they don't ever train hard, and the other one uses sloppy form, ego lifting in the gym, but they train hard, the person who trained hard is going to get better gains than the person who trains perfectly. Don't forget the importance of training hard, but also remember, there is a time and place for doing near-death experience type of sets. Just because Sam gets away with it, just because he can do 98% of his sets to failure, doesn't mean that you can. My advice is to experiment. If you're not training as hard as Sam right now and you're not getting the gains that you want, try to train a little bit harder. If you get more gains in doing so, then continue to do that. But if you increase the intensity and all of a sudden you're sore all the time and you're not experiencing as great a gains as you once were, then go back to training how you were. We're all different. No 2 people are alike. And so what my advice is this: if you're not sure how hard to train a little bit harder. If you're not sore right now, you feel good the next day, you're probably not training quite hard enough. And so what you do is you go to the gym. For example, you did 10 reps and next day you do 11. And if you do 11 reps and you do it and it feels okay, then well, the next day try to get 12. But if you do 12 that day and the next day you're suddenly sore, you feel the aches and pains, then don't go up to 13. Keep it there for a little while. Let soreness be your indicator. If you are sore every time you go to the gym, you're probably overtraining. But if you're feeling great, recovered 100%, there's nothing bothering you ever, then maybe you're holding back just a little bit too much. I know that when I go to the gym, the day after, I feel a little bit of soreness. It's not overly sore, but I can tell I went to the gym the day before. If you go to the gym and it's the next day and you can't even tell you worked out, probably not training hard enough, unless, of course, you are a beginner. And so if you're not sore, train a little bit harder. But if you are getting too sore from your training, go a little bit easier. Why is he always out of breath? And so as he explains this answer, he is slightly out of breath. Have you considered the fact that this guy is explaining this between sets? He's literally training 98% of his sets to failure. And between these sets, he's giving you his answers. He's talking about the questions, the comments that he's read.
Okay. That was a little more squeezing focus. Let's make the next set kind of more brutish.
And so it's not that he's out of breath from taking PDs. Get with it, people. He's tired from previously having done a set. Imagine if I answered all my questions while racing in a bicycle, you'd say, why is Coach Greg always out of breath? Of course I'm out of breath. I'm out of breath because I'm doing cardio. Well, Sam, not everyone takes a shit ton of gear to recover from that. And so it is in fact true that if you're taking performance enhancing drugs, you can in fact train harder than last time. You recover faster. You can handle more volume. But what's also true is when you're taking performance enhancing drugs, you're a lot stronger, and so you're lifting heavier weights. And so the reality is this: whether you're a natural or enhanced, you can only train so hard. If you overdo it while on PDs, you're probably going to get injured. When you train natural, you're far less likely to get injured than when you train enhanced. Did you know that? And so for those of you out there taking performance enhancing drugs, you're taking super supplements, remember this: you're more likely to get hurt. You're not only lifting heavier weights, but your tendons, ligaments, they're not capable of handling all that load. Your muscles get a lot stronger before your tendons and ligaments. And so before maxing out on that bench press while taking PDs, think again. You are far more likely to get injured than your former natty self. There is a reason not to go all out. It's called recovery and being able to hit that muscle again sooner. Dr. Mike Israetel talks about this all the time. Here's the thing. He makes a great point. But if you go to the gym and you're always thinking, oh, I can't go hard because I need to recover, I need to do these sets again and not be sore, and Dr. Mike Israetel said, make sure to have 3 IR, you're never going to train hard enough. And so don't have it in your mind, oh, I can't push myself here, because if I do, I'm not going to recover and I'm going to have neurological fatigue. Rather than thinking that, go freaking hard. And don't do 10 sets of it. You ever think of that? You can go to failure and not do 10 sets like that. And so rather than doing 10 half-ass sets, I like to call those junk volume, why not do one very hard rep? Jeff Nippert says, for every 3 hard sets you do, make one of them to failure. To me, that makes a lot of sense. And so the next time you're in the gym, don't think I need to train like Sam Sulek on every given set. Think 1 out of every 3 sets, I'm going to go very hard like Sam does. And for the other sets, I'm going to go like Mike Israetel or Jeff Nippert and try to go within 3 reps of failure. Looking for supplements to aid in your lifting, consider Acti Builder or Turk Builder. Also, GO2 Max for increased endurance. Remember, it has NMN. This can lead to better recovery, better cardio. And if you're recovering greater between sets, pushing harder than last time, you can, in fact, experience greater gains in the gym. And remember, you don't need any supplement to make gains. If you're a teenager, you have newbie gains. You don't need any of this. But remember, if you're older, you're no longer a teenager, you perhaps hit a plateau, consider harder than last time supplements. Code Greg, 15% off. Click the link in the description. Aside from this, we have Delta Sleep to help you sleep. We have pre-workouts, both stimulant and non-stim for greater pumps, as well as G-Test to increase your testosterone levels, fat burners, and so on. And so please click the link in the description. Code Greg, 15% off. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it. Watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, cookbooks, training books, the Circle Diet book. You can get all of these on my website. Coaching plans by me and my team, the Harder Than Last Time clothing line. Until next time, I am out.